Accountability isn't punishment, it's empowerment. The moment that you say, this is my life and I have the power to change it, is the moment everything shifts. Today, we're diving into how accountability heals your past, rewires your brain, and makes you so magnetic. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to another video. My name is Danny, and on this channel, we talk about bettering ourselves from the inside out. So if bettering yourself is something you're into, then hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video with me. I've been thinking about this topic for quite a bit now, and when I think about myself and all the lives that I felt like I've lived so far, it feels very empowering. It feels very encouraging, and it feels right. And when I say that, I mean, I had my moments of being extremely pessimistic and just extremely naive to the world, and didn't care to learn. I didn't have that curiosity. I didn't have that desire for more. I was very complacent. And I've had multiple different moments in my life where, I was leading for something that wasn't for my best self, or maybe I was leading for someone else. And reflecting back on these parts of my life, which I've done countlessly in order to shift and evolve and move forward, and it's something also that I preach so much on my channel, and using neuroplasticity and your brain's ability to rewire itself in order to become your best self. But that's always going to start with being aware of how you've been before and making that adjustment to be better. So we really do have to take our lives and look at them as a whole and see where we can take the accountability. So, number one, the science of accountability. Your brain learns from feedback loops. When you wake up in the morning, you're doing a very consistent pattern of who you are, right? This is something that Dr. Joe Dispenza speaks about, and he speaks about in order to break that apart, breaking apart this idea of who you are, you are going to have to do things a little bit differently. So we are very aware of the fact that we have patterns and we have habits. I'm speaking about just a generalized version of you looking at yourself without being biased, without saying something's good or something's bad, just looking at your habits and understanding each of our habits will strengthen our neuroplasticity. So whatever the brain sees us consistently doing is what we're going to do until we form that new neural pathway to shift us out of it. When you take responsibility instead of blaming yourself, this is when your brain starts to create resilience. And that's where we want to be. We want to be in a position to look at how our brain takes information in, how we become who we are, right? So if we're forming all these habits, we're consistently being this person, and we're not blaming ourselves for being this person, but we know we don't want to stay in this form. We don't want to stay in this current reality of who we are. We want to elevate and become better. We're going to have to make those shifts and give our brain a new feedback loop without judgment, again, because anybody can have judgment on someone else. I could be a new person within 5 minutes if I really decided to. But the past versions of myself, I look at them and I see what she's been through. These different versions of me. And I feel compassion and I feel gratitude. And I feel that I needed to learn those lessons. We just need to remember, in order to cultivate that new being of who we want to be, we need to do small daily actions. This is going to rewire us for success. Think about small shifts here. So if you're the type of person who wants to maybe make her coffee at home versus going every day to Starbucks, because I've been there before, you want to start implementing small daily actions. For example, maybe you can start by not ordering the very sugary drink that you get and maybe order just like a shot of espresso, right? It kind of takes that glory out of the fact that you're going to get this sugar-filled drink, and now you're taking it, you're still getting your coffee. However, it's become something so less. Then maybe your next step can be to buy the stuff at home to make yourself coffee that you genuinely enjoy. Then you can take from being at Starbucks every single day, even if you've knocked it down to just having an espresso shot. And now you can be like, I don't want to go to Starbucks anymore. I'm going to start making my coffee at home. So these small shifts are going to create success. Number 2, the spiritual side. Accountability is alignment. So when you think about yourself and maybe you're reflecting on the person you were a couple months ago, or even currently, right? And you have habits that you're not proud of. Maybe you've made decisions that you're not proud of. The whole idea here is to own it. Own those decisions and tell yourself it's time to take accountability so we can elevate. And that's going to keep you in alignment, because your best self, you need a plan to get to her. And that plan is going to start with accountability. When you own your vibration, you stop creating from the past and you start creating from your future self. Ways that you can do this is going to be meditation, visualization, hypnosis, EFT tapping, and these tools that you can utilize are going to help you take the accountability and create a new version of yourself that you're ready to step into. So the awareness of the problem, you take accountability being like, okay, this is what I do. I'm not going to say it's not. I'm going to take full accountability for it. And I'm going to say, yes, maybe I don't communicate the best way I want to. Or maybe I'm not showing up for myself in my daily life the way I want to. Maybe I'm not doing the physical movement. Maybe I'm not even showering. Maybe I'm not cleaning up my home. These things, once you recognize them, you take accountability for them, then you can move through them. Visualize yourself as someone who does do all those things, someone who is a wonderful communicator, somebody who is constantly thinking about what can I do today to be better for tomorrow. Number 3, let's look at the psychology of healing. I want to think about blame. And when you think about the word blame, it already feels ugly. It already feels negative. And when you think about blame, it's going to keep you stuck in old stories. So when I think about the past version of me and some of the things that maybe I'm not too proud of, or maybe some of the conversations that I've been in that maybe I said some things that weren't who I want to show up as in the world or with my friends or my family or just anybody, right? If I were to tell myself, that was so bad, I can't believe you did that, that's just like you, you're so terrible, you never think about the other person, you're gonna end up alone and you're never gonna heal and like blah, 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 right? I'm blaming myself. Now, I could have said, instead of blaming myself, I could have said, you did handle it that way. There were a lot of emotions involved. Maybe next time, take a breath before you speak about this topic. Or maybe take some time out to walk away, collect yourself, and then return back to the conversation. This is going to take that blaming out. The next time something might come up that's very similar to the conversation I had before that I felt like I didn't handle the correct way, now I have kind of a game plan and the ability to know and believe in myself that I can handle this differently. And I'm not going to get stuck in these old patterns. A really big way to think about this is to forgive yourself. This is going to be the ultimate accountability. Forgiveness is ultimately for yourself. Even if forgiving the situation that happened because life happens. I have been through some things in life, and it's taken me quite a bit to forgive the situation. I never told the people that I forgave them. However, in order for me to move forward and to heal these wounds and these situations I've been through, I need to acknowledge them and I need to forgive myself, because either I didn't know any better or I chose wrong because I didn't have the correct tools and the correct healing, or a million of other things. The whole point here is to forgive yourself. Replace this conversation with yourself that says, I should have said this. I should have said this. I should have done this. I should have walked away. I shouldn't have said that. Replace that with next time I choose. You are the alchemist. You are the creator of your own life. So if you decide to say, next time I choose to speak with more self-control, next time I choose to not speak out of anger, and just be aware that there is always a way. There's always a way to look at the situation and say, I forgive myself for what I've done, and I forgive this version of me, and I'm ready to elevate and move forward. Number 4, the magnetic glamour. Accountability is sexy. It's so audacious to say, I made this choice, and now I choose better. It's so audacious to say, I was this person, but now I'm better. Because I forgave myself, I took responsibility without any blame, and now I'm making the steps to be better every single day. And this can also be something that you utilize with mirror work and journaling. Let's not forget that we can journal. We can kind of take our thoughts, write them out on paper, and visually see that maybe I was making it more than what it was. Or maybe that person, what they did to me, ultimately, it's time for me to move on. Even if that person's no longer in my life, it's time for me to move on and take accountability for how I reacted to it. And now let it go and be better for myself, not for anybody else. I just want the main message of this idea on accountability to be that you get to take accountability because it's empowering. It's not disempowering. It's not taking you down. It's not a punishment. It's empowering. It lifts you up because you can take this awareness of what you want and turn your old patterns into something new and something better that supports this idea of what you want. This is gonna just make you have this beautiful glow. It's gonna shift your energy. It's gonna make you so magnetic. And it's also going to have anything that comes your way, you know you can take that hurt, that pain, that suffering indefinitely, and you can alchemize it into something better for yourself because you're taking accountability in your part in the situation. Number 5, the practical art of accountability. A couple ways to take accountability over your life and to start today, if you so choose, is daily reflection. What did I do today that aligned with my best self? Check in with yourself, because if the goal is to be at your highest self, right? To evolve from your old patterns and the ways that you don't want to be or have been before, to turn that into something new, something amazing, something magnetic, you're going to have to check in with yourself. And this is going to even be a nervous system check-in. So your nervous system is regulated before reacting to anything. I was watching a video earlier today. The woman spoke about this study that was done on 2 groups of men. And there was a regular bridge, and I'll put the study in the description box below. But she mentioned that there's 2 bridges, right? There's a group of men going over this strong, normal bridge. At the end of the bridge, there was a woman who was asking them questions. Then, at the end of the questionnaire, it said, here's her number if you wanted to contact her. The second group of men who walked over a very sketchy, very rickety bridge. And at the end of the bridge, they had the same questions, and they also had the phone number for the woman. Most of the men that reached out to this woman were the men that walked over the rickety, gross bridge that was very unsafe because their emotions were heightened, their nervous system was not regulated, so they confused that with attraction. And I find this to be absolutely insane, but it makes so much sense. We need to check in with our nervous system, and we need to make sure it's regulated before we go all crazy on someone. The person who was speaking about the study done also mentioned that she had something happen to her after she got done at the gym doing a run. And it's just something to point out that when you're in a heightened state, that's maybe dysregulating your nervous system and you're not checking in with yourself to bring yourself back to this level playing field, then you have potential to do things out of the normal and to react to certain things in ways that you might not want to. So these are things to think about. Another way to really get into this practical side of taking accountability, future self journaling. If I were my dream self, how would I show up right now? And the more you allow these questions to sink in and the answers to just flow through, you're going to be surprised about your answer. I've had multiple times where I was doing journaling like this, and the answer that popped through did surprise me because it's like, wow, that was a really good answer, and I'm very proud of myself for making that answer. Always remember to celebrate your growth, even if it's messy. Even if you take a couple steps backwards and then take a couple more forward, the whole point is to celebrate your successes, celebrate your growth. And this is going to go back into the brain's ability to see this and be like, okay, this is who we are now. Number 6, owning your choices without shame. Sometimes people will try to remind you of who you used to be, remind you of your past and your past decisions. And maybe you want you to feel bad for the way you acted previously, or maybe a decision you made previously, or if you have like a reputation for being a certain way, like a hothead. And they might hold you in this box where this person, oh my gosh, they've always been a hothead. They've always been someone who doesn't stand up for themselves, or maybe they're always quick to jump on the defense. When you have these boxes that you're put in by people, it's important to remember accountability means owning your voice with power and not shame. A point where you can say, yes, I was this way in the past, but now I'm choosing differently. And this is how you're going to make these positive, beautiful, amazing changes, because you're not attacking yourself. You're not blaming yourself and belittling yourself. You're not making any excuses, but you're not allowing somebody else to put you in a box and like keep you there. Remember that the past is evidence of who you were. And the more you can create in the present and this idea of who you want to be in the future, that's what you're going to align to. You do not have to take on your past versions of yourself or decisions that you made previously or anything like that. You own it. You own your past with power. And when you choose to be freed up by this guilt of who you used to be, or maybe the fact that, yeah, you did in the past, maybe you jumped to anger immediately. And now people are just like, oh my gosh, there they go. She's just going to jump to anger. It's like when you do things differently enough and you like 100% believe that is your true way of who you want to show up as, the past is not going to come haunt you in the future. When you own it, you take control over it, you take accountability, you take power, and you utilize that and you alchemize that into your best future. This is going to free you up and it's going to give you this amazing glow up. Louise Hay would say, you did the best you could with the understanding that you had. Now you know better, so you'll do better. As we come to a close on the video, I just want to remind you that accountability isn't about guilt. It's really about freedom. It's about saying, I hold the pen and I'm writing my story. When you combine neuroscience, spirituality, and a little bit of audacity, you realize that accountability is the ultimate glow up. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I hope that I was able to shed some light on how taking accountability is so powerful, and it's changed my life in so many ways for the better, and I will continue to take accountability in all of the things that I'm ready to change, and in situations that I might be put in where I'm not utilizing my own tools. I'm going to take accountability for that, and I'm going to evolve and become better, and you can too. So again, thank you so much for watching my video. Don't forget to get your copy of my book. It's called Full of Yourself, a guide to becoming your most audacious self. And it's available on Amazon, but I will link it in the description box below. And here is my Instagram. I will put it right here on the screen. If you have any questions about accountability, about hypnosis, you just want to say hi, DM me there, and I would love to have a conversation with you. And until next time, love yourself boldly and live audaciously. Bye.